Hi, this is Tim of the 1916 Company. Welcome and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me, Team Mosso at the1916company.com for purchase pricing and availability questions concerning this watch. And this watch was a limited edition of 350 pieces in stainless steel, launched right at the end of the second generation Overseas Chronograph's run in 2015. The 000A-9017, which I have right here, is a model that ran from 2004 until 2015, and this unique combination of a silver-white dial with red accents was a 350-piece limited series that was sort of a send-off for the Overseas Chronograph. The chronograph really was the it model of the second generation of the watch that really made the Overseas a thing and vaulted it into competition with its rivals from Audemars Piguet and Patek Philippe. Whereas the first generation Overseas was a curiosity, the second generation was a contender. It's a beautiful watch at 42 millimeters in diameter, surprisingly slim. When you look at it in profile, you remark at just how thin it actually looks. You can see it's only 12.5 millimeters thick, which is thinner than a Rolex Submariner, for example, and then 50.6 from lug tip to lug tip. Throwing the watch on the wrist, you can see it features an integrated strap, so all of a piece, very cool, clean, collected, and coherent. On my 16 centimeter circumference wrist, the downward angle of the lugs really helps mitigate any fit issues that might be caused by the broad lug-to-lug dimension, to the point that I would actually say that you could wear this watch on a wrist as small as 15 centimeters circumference quite easily. And with a cupped case back, low profile, and the sloped bezel, although it's a sports watch, it could easily be worn underneath a tight dress shirt or cuff. Again, my wrist is 16 centimeters circumference for reference. The strap is robust, and you can see they did things the right way here. Fixed the case using screws and bars, a much more secure and upscale and slightly more expensive solution than spring bars. This watch deserves it. You can see we have large, rectangular, symmetrical scales. I love to see that. An expensive cut of the animal, and thick cut too, with a lot of bolstering to give it volume and thickness, a folded edge, a monotone stitch, black with a semi-gloss finish, and on the bottom you can see calf skin. No crimping, no gouging. This is a particularly secure buckle. Back then, Vacheron was using both a deployant clasp and a pin fixed by a screw, so the strap can't pull through. We've got the Maltese cross logo inside the buckle, with a combination of polish and media blast. Close it all up now. We have the Maltese cross logo, the logo and emblem of the company on the outside as well. Press both triggers for it to open up. You have to press them. It won't fly open inadvertently, very secure. You can see that a screw and a bar also used to fix the strap to the clasp. Love that. On the back, the Italian naval training vessel Amerigo Vespucci. That is the design basis for this square-rigged ship. Considered to be one of the most beautiful square-rigged vessels on the oceans. It inspired the logo on the back of the first and second generation Overseas. But we've got chiseling back here, we've got polish, we've got radial satin brushing, we've got circular concentric brushing, and then we've got a soft iron cage around the movement, which is one reason why there's no display case back, and it provides the watch with 25,000 ampere per meter of magnetic resistance. Remember, an anti-magnetic watch via ISO 764 is 4,800, so this is 25,000, and with screw-down crowns, 150 meters water resistant. Deeply impressive. Taking a look now, we've got those screw-downs. Again, a Maltese cross logo on the crown. It's also cut into the profile of the bezel, and if you look at the recesses of the bezel, you can see they're brushed internally, polished outboard. One feature I like about the second generation watch that unfortunately the third does not share is that the second generation featured the bezel mounted directly to the case, whereas on the second generation there's a circular plinth on top of the case and the bezel sits on that. It makes the watch thicker. There's a bevel that runs down the edges of the case and then down the lugs, and you can see the lugs are actually stepped out. They're a separate part from the case proper. You can see that easily underneath. We've got a dial that is silver white, and it's fascinating because the silver is whiter than most silver. We'll take a very close look. You can see there's a sunburst metallic grain. Then we have these sunken sub-registers, each with a polished chaptering. It's got a big eye style minutes register, reasoning correctly that this needs to be easier to read than chronograph hours or running seconds. So that's a big eye style asymmetrical minutes register. Now you'll be able to see as the chronograph seconds hand, which is varnished red, crosses the threshold up at the top that we have here on the minute counter. A semi-instantaneous jump, and then a big date. We also have white gold hands, white gold applique indices, a rejo outboard that acts as a scale for reading the minutes, the seconds, and also chronograph fractions. And every 5 minutes you have a red Arabic numeral. You can see that one of the most distinctive features on the first two generations of the Overseas, much missed on the third generation, is this big date up at the top, which includes a quickset mechanism. The watch doesn't have hacking seconds, but that's pretty much the only refinement it lacks. We'll do a loom shot now so you can see just how well this watch glows in the dark. Inside the case, Vacheron caliber 1137, which is a Frederic Piguet 1185. Unidirectional automatic winding, 40-hour power reserve, 3 Hz, 37 joules, 5 position adjusted. It features a vertical clutch and a column wheel. And the vertical clutch and column wheel combo give the watch a combination. Oops, I keep accidentally activating the quickset there. Of smooth engagement via the vertical clutch and crisp engagement via the column wheel. So let me demonstrate. As I push, the column wheel gives me a sharp pusher feel. Very robust, satisfying. The vertical clutch gives me smooth engagements. There's no jump, stagger, or extraneous motion to the seconds hand because there's no play with the vertical clutch. And if you like to leave your chronograph running full-time, you can do that with a vertical clutch because there is no additional wear and tear. Now, the movement is a Frederic Piguet 1185, so it's a Blancpain chronograph caliber, also used by, among others, many years of the Audemars Piguet Royal Chrono, Breguet, Blancpain, and many others. The movement is nicely decorated, 5-position adjusted. It is a high horology, thin, fine, automatic, integrated chronograph caliber that is a suitable match for Vacheron Constantin. If you love this watch, reach out to Team Mosso at the 1916company.com for purchase and pricing details.